Anime nowadays has everything, from quality soundtracks to interesting stories and even high quality action scenes. Each component plays a role in raising the viewer experience.
Good.
However, among all these components, there's nothing that can make or break a viewer's experience quite like voice acting. And bad voice acting can even ruin an entire show.
He's going over that cliff. Don't leave me! What am I fighting for?
Moments like these make people question why they even started watching anime in the first place, but on the positive side, bad voice acting can make people appreciate the moments when voice acting is actually good. And good voice actors are able to reach such quality because of the intense passion they put into their work. However, while this passion is admirable, it can easily go to lengths that can be seen as crazy. Voice actors have become clinically depressed, have damaged their vocal cords, and have even collapsed in their recording booth, all to achieve the best possible portrayal of their character. And while no voice acting job is easy, roles that have characters going through extreme emotions often affect voice actors the most, and this was the case in the Evangelion series. Evangelion is one of the most influential anime series of all time, and this is in part due to how unique and different the story of Evangelion is. Initially, Evangelion had actually been intended to be a typical mecha anime focusing more on big robot battles and teenage angst. However, the director of Evangelion, Hideaki Anno, decided to change the story to deal with more complex topics such as depression, mental health, and trauma. This change made Evangelion into what it is today, but it also put a massive strain on its production team and the voice actors behind Evangelion's characters. And one of these voice actors was Megumi Ogata, who voiced Evangelion's main character Shinji. Shinji throughout Evangelion was a very complex character that dealt with issues with his identity, loneliness, and self-worth, and it was up to her to portray such a multi-layered character. Before she took on the role as Shinji, Ogata had played various roles such as Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho and Yugi Moto in Yu-Gi-Oh! However, while these characters are iconic, they were nowhere near as complex or as demanding role as Shinji, and she went to extreme lengths to portray him. When Ogata started voicing Shinji, she threw herself into his psyche, confronting Shinji's pain as if it was her own. She was even told by her director to pour her own emotions and insecurities into Shinji to bring authenticity to the character. And she took this advice to heart, putting an immense emotional and physical toll on herself to portray Shinji in an authentic way. Ogata would use various methods that were unorthodox and even downright uncomfortable to portray Shinji. Some of these methods were pressing into her diaphragm to achieve an anxious and fragile voice, recording lines curled up or hunched over to emulate Shinji's shakiness and pain, even sitting by herself for 6 hours in complete darkness to fully capture Shinji's hopelessness. Moments like these put a big strain on Ogata, not just physically, but she would have to deal with this emotionally, often feeling depressed after intense recording sessions. And these moments strained Ogata so much that at one point she even collapsed in the recording booth. However, despite these immense difficulties, Ogata did not hate or despise her experience, but was honored that she was able to be part of something so special. Ogata was dedicated to her role as Shinji and was willing to deal with all her hardships to get the role right. And this dedication was similar to Dragon Ball voice actor Masako Nozawa. Masako Nozawa is known for her role as Goku in Dragon Ball, and when she first took on the role, it seemed as if it was almost made for her. Before Nozawa took on the role of Goku, she had been voice acting for various anime series such as Doraemon and was known as a quality voice actress that could take on a variety of roles. Because of all this, the creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, admired Nozawa's work and even said that when writing the original manga, he would hear her voice. And Toriyama's choice for Goku was spot on, as Nozawa fit the role well and was praised for her performance. After the release of the Dragon Ball anime, it quickly became a massive success, and despite having done notable roles in the past, Nozawa's role as Goku became what she was most recognized for. For decades, she continued her role as Goku, and to present day still voices Goku even in her advanced age. Now, this is no easy task because while Goku is not an emotionally complex character such as Shinji from Evangelion, he is often involved in intense battle scenes that require a large amount of energy to voice. On top of this, Nozawa not only voices Goku, but also voices his son Gohan and grandson Goten, both of which have intense battle scenes and moments of their own. For some of these scenes, Goku can be yelling at full blast, and the battle scenes are more than just regular voice lines and will be considered more of a vocal marathon. During a notable scene where Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 3, Nozawa, who at the time was in her 60s, yelled at full blast for 30 seconds. She did this all in one take and nearly collapsed because of the physical energy it took. However, even through all this, even with Nozawa's advanced age, she has not lost quality in her voice acting, and even in her late 80s says that quote, she would voice Goku until her last breath. And she definitely is speaking the truth because to this day, she still voices Goku in any role that he is in, whether it's in anime, movies, or video games. For Nozawa, Goku's optimism and unyielding spirit became a personal inspiration and something she hopes to carry on as long as possible. And her dedication and passion for her role inspired her English-speaking counterpart, Sean Schemmel. For English-speaking fans of Dragon Ball, Sean has made a lasting impact and for good reason. While Sean was inspired and respects Nozawa's way of voicing Goku, he was able to emulate the same dedication and passion Nozawa had while adding his own unique style.
I will not let you destroy my world!
And like Nozawa, Sean will push himself to the limit, even collapsing while recording Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan 4. Sean's portrayal of Goku has become a favorite of many Dragon Ball fans, and many fans appreciate his passion and how he approaches this role. And this kind of passion is also seen in another shonen, One Piece, which also has voice actors that are very passionate. One Piece, like Dragon Ball, is an incredibly iconic anime with many beloved characters. With the show going on for decades, it is one of the most famous anime in the world, gaining many fans of its great storytelling and many beloved characters. And one of these beloved characters is Rona Zoro. Zoro in One Piece is voiced by Kazuya Nakai, and his portrayal of Zoro is beloved and praised, especially for how he immerses himself into the character. In the recording booth, Nakai is known for being more of a method actor, and he will often have unusual methods to help in his portrayal of Zoro. In the anime, Zoro often fights with an iconic three-sword style, one sword being held in his mouth. Because of this, Nakai when voicing these scenes would often hold a pen or pencil in his mouth, making it seem like Zoro is actually clenching his teeth when delivering lines. Alongside this, when recording, Nakai would often contort his body. He would do this because in the anime, Zoro was often injured, pushing himself far beyond what his body could handle. So in order to emulate this, Nakai would try to copy Zoro's injuries. If Zoro was slashed in the chest or struggling to stand, Nakai would hunch over, grab his side, or tighten his muscles in order to capture the pain and exhaustion that Zoro was feeling. On top of this, because Zoro was often involved in major battles, Nakai would often have to yell intensely in order to match Zoro's energy, and these yelling sessions would make Nakai hoarse or even lose his voice altogether. However, even through all these different methods and difficulties, Nakai has genuine pride over his role and even jokes that he has adopted some of Zoro's unique traits. However, while portraying Zoro seemed to be physically demanding, for one of Death Note's voice actors, Mamoru Miyano, his role was more emotionally demanding. In Death Note, Mamoru Miyano is the voice of the main character, Light Yagami. From the beginning of the show to the end, Light transforms from a justice-driven student to a power-hungry, morally complex villain, and Miyano was able to embrace this shift, bringing out Light's chilling descent. However, by doing this role, Miyano would have to immerse himself into Light's psyche, and this was no easy task. Light was not only cruel and sociopathic, but would have almost dual personalities where in public he was a charming innocent student, but in private he was a sadistic, arrogant killer. Because of this duality and Light's slow descent into madness, Miyano would have to tap into darker emotions to play the character. At one point, he was so immersed in his role that even when takes were finished, he would shout in frustration or laugh maniacally, with Miyano describing the situation as if he was being possessed by Light. During scenes like the infamous I Am Kira scene, Miyano's immersion allowed him to capture Light's spiral into madness, and that scene became one of the most memorable in the entire anime. Even for other scenes that could have been more mundane, such as the potato chip eating scene, Miyano's portrayal of the scene made it seem much more intense. Because of all this, Miyano would leave recording sessions incredibly drained and mentally warped, and later on would talk about the mental toll that came with playing Light. Even after leaving the recording booth, Miyano would say that his mood would be affected and he needed to purposely take time to detach himself from the character. However, not everything to do with his role was negative, as by the end of his role, he saw it as a transformative experience and said that even though the role was challenging, it helped him grow as a voice actor. And alongside this, Miyano was almost universally praised for his portrayal of Light, with many anime watchers appreciating the depth that he went into for his character. Because of voice actors like Miyano, people were able to get such iconic characters that they can appreciate, but honestly, for the normal person, they would probably look at the lengths that these voice actors go to portray their characters and call them a bit crazy. And they kinda are.
Look, Pim, I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause.